It's going to be lonely. That's just the truth. And I've been struggling with that a lot. So how do you handle loneliness? That is what we're going to talk about in this video, because the last 2 years I've been struggling with loneliness a lot, and I think that you watching can relate to this and probably see your own story in me, and hopefully I can help you. So in order to combat loneliness, there are a couple of lifestyle changes that needs to be made, and you could start implementing these already today or tomorrow or this upcoming week to feel a difference really fast. Because I've been struggling with loneliness for about 2 years now. It's been a big issue for me, and I can honestly take the blame myself as well. So everyone is going to have their different experience with loneliness, and I gotta be honest, there's probably someone watching this video right now that I can't even help, because we all have a different situation when it comes to loneliness. But I do think that if you click this video, you are struggling with loneliness. So the place where I really find loneliness is in entrepreneurship, people with aspiring goals trying to achieve something or become something in this world, because that takes a whole lot of sacrifice and late nights. So let me tell you the story when I started my first business 4 years ago. So a thing that you probably did not know about me is that I dropped out of school to pursue entrepreneurship. And I know that this probably sounds cringe. You want to click off this video, which is completely fine. But when I started out my first business 4 years ago, I dropped out of school. And the reason I dropped out of school was not really to start a business. It was because I was struggling with anxiety and I got multiple panic attacks every single day. I could also do a video on how to handle that and how I was able to cope with it. But I did figure out there was only 2 ways to go. Either go back to school, which was not ideal. I was not going to be able to do it, or to start up my own actual internet business, which I actually did start up, and it really went successful. It's super successful today. I feel totally blessed, and I'm super happy that I was able to make this thing happen, but it came with a whole lot of loneliness. So listen to this. So I started my first business 4 years ago with no prior experience in business, entrepreneurship, sales, or anything. I had no advantages, to say it at least. And I also did have a messed up sleeping schedule, which really caused loneliness in my life. But when you're striving to do something, achieve or create something that not a lot of other people are trying to achieve in their teens, you're probably going to struggle with loneliness. It is just a fact, but I'm going to teach you how to handle it. The problem is though that most teenagers just wants to be out, smoke weed, drink alcohol every single weekend, or in the worst case every single day, and you are going to be lonely if you stand out of these groups. But the good thing is you can find friends who's not into that, of course, but you never really want to miss out. But when it comes to struggling with loneliness, it probably means that you're on the right path, to be completely honest. Either you are very depressed and you have a problem, but you might also just be on the right path to actually make something great out of yourself, and that comes with a lot of loneliness. The first thing though that can cause extreme loneliness is having a messed up sleep schedule, and the way I sleep is the way I think, and my sleeping schedule kind of is my health schedule too, my mental health. So if my sleeping schedule is messed up, which it kind of is, I'm sitting up here editing, running my business the whole night, grinding, you can call it grinding, I don't know, but since I'm doing that every single day, my sleeping schedule do get messed up every once in a while, or to be completely honest with you, it's always messed up. It's a really big problem, but it does cause a lot of loneliness, because you're up at the times where other people are sleeping, and you're not really going to be a functioning human in society if you are up when other people are sleeping. And as I said though, this is a video most likely for people that's into entrepreneurship or doing their own thing, because you know, if you have a job in the morning, you're probably not going to struggle with laziness at the same level. You could though, of course, but when you're striving to create something for yourself and you get really lonely, you can't just wake up the next day and go to work and socialize there, because a lot of people get their daily dose of socializing from work. But if you're working from home, or you know, under the current worldwide situation that I don't really want to name in this video due to YouTube's guideline, there is going to be a lot of loneliness. So the first step is have an okay sleeping schedule. The second thing is you got to keep yourself busy. So loneliness for me, as I said, when the evening hits, it will always be a problem, and it's most likely going to be a problem for you as well after you've done this change. But one thing that is really important is to keep yourself going. I find myself at my lowest lows when I'm not chasing anything, or when I don't have anything to do in my day. So for the past 2 weeks, I honestly felt really down. I've not really been working on my business. I've not really been handling my clients too well, and my sleeping schedule has been kind of messed up. Not crazy, it has been fine the past week, but I had a really big problem with facing a really big low in my life. And what I can see when it comes to facing a low in your life is that in a lot of cases you're not pushing through. You might be pushing through for a week, but then on the second week you start chilling out, and progress releases dopamine. Progress is what keeps you going. Progress is what makes you happy. So I find like short-term fulfillment you can get from hanging out with your friends, for example, watching a movie that could keep you away from being depressed for a long period of time. But what really gives you long-lasting satisfaction is chasing something. It's trying to achieve something that means a lot to you. So whenever I'm hungry, whenever I'm trying to chase something or achieve something, I feel lonely way less. And I feel lonely quite frequently when I'm not chasing anything. So for the past 2 weeks, I've not done anything. I've not really exercised. I've not really built my business or worked on the things that are really important to me. And my sleeping schedule has been quite out of place. So first of all, your sleeping schedule is out. You're not up when other people are up, which means you're losing out on certain parts of the day that you could have spent socializing to some extent, or honestly just going to feel lonely when other people are sleeping and you're not. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you're not striving for anything, which just allows room for you to sit and think. Just sit there and think. And it could go to the point where you're just staring out in the air. You don't feel anything. You don't feel a point with anything. And that's when you need to pick yourself up and actually keep going, which is really hard. I don't really achieve this myself either in every situation, but I try my best. But when you really feel lonely or when you feel depressed, you need to pick yourself up and you got to do something, because progress gives you satisfaction, and satisfaction is way better than happiness because it's a lasting good feeling, and it's probably going to cause happiness in a lot of cases. But happiness could be short term, but if you have a high satisfaction, you're taking responsibility of yourself, at least you will be satisfied, which is more important than being happy, because if you are satisfied, you are probably going to stay away from the depressed mindset, most likely. But then it's the part of going from satisfaction to happy, which is a whole nother thing. But to get out of depression, to get out of loneliness, you got to keep yourself going. You got to realize that people are on their other paths in life, and most people could actually be lonely. But why would they ever share that with you? Why would someone tell you they're lonely? Why would someone tell you their struggles? So maybe there's someone else out there as well. And when you are trying to achieve something great, you will face loneliness most likely, or you will face depression to some extent. 3 years ago, when I started my business 4 years ago, or let's actually skip to the successful business, which was 3 years ago, nobody believed in me. So a thing you probably don't know about me, if you checked out his channel lately, that I dropped out of high school. I actually did last year. I had a lot of panic attacks, anxiety. It was extremely hard. I was having panic attacks every day. I can do a video on how I handle that as well. But it really did break me, so I had to drop out. And I realized that going to school would not be possible for me, as I did have these panic attacks every single day. So I had to make something out of myself. There was no other choice. It was either going to school, which was not an option, and then there was the option of building something for myself. And I've thought about building something for myself for a very long period of time before this, so I kind of saw this as a golden opportunity or the motivation to actually do it. So I told people that I dropped out because I wanted to start a business, because who really wants to talk about their current mental health situation? Nobody really wants that, right? Just like who would ever tell you that they struggle with loneliness? There's probably more people than you think. But I did drop out, and I started my first business, and it started skyrocketing. But before that, everyone in the school, I heard rumors of people saying that I was never going to make it, that I was going to fail. It's kind of like me against this whole city. Nobody believed in me, not even my parents, not even my girlfriend, but they didn't know anything about it either. I've been researching the internet for years before this, figuring out ways to make money online, realizing that you can actually start a business from your own computer. So I totally believed in it. I was brainwashed to some extent, but I really did believe that making money online was possible, and I didn't let anyone stop me, because the doubt of others is going to stop you. That causes so many dreams to be crushed before they're even put to action, before people even try to achieve something. Other people talk them out of it. And if someone does that to you and you break, you need to kind of like rewire your mindset, because whatever someone else tells you does not really mean that it's not going to happen. They don't know any better. They never built a business, for example. They never been in shape. If someone who's completely out of shape says that you're not going to get in shape, well, who are they really to tell? They never even tried it, right? So when other people say that it's not going to happen, you kind of just got to push through, right? That was really lonely, because it was me against everyone else. Nobody believed in me. It was lonely. I had to prove myself to some extent. I didn't really care about that, but I kind of had to prove myself to society, or to not be a failure. I got to make money somehow, and then also got in really great shape, which helped me a lot combating loneliness and depression when building this, because there was a lot of failures. I think if I were not in good shape, I probably would not be able to handle that correctly. But everyone was against me. I somehow made it happen. I don't think it was lucky at all. It was a lot of hard work involved in building that business, which is something that really means a lot to me. But I made it happen. Nobody believed in it, and it caused a lot of loneliness, because it was me with my big goal. Everyone made fun of it. Everyone was laughing about it, said it was never going to happen. So obviously it's going to be lonely when you sit there working. It's your passion. It's 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. You're sitting there working. Nothing is working out. It seems hopeless right now, but then eventually there's going to be light. It's actually going to work. It's going to be lonely. That's just the truth. And I've been struggling with that a lot. I'm not even afraid to admit that my business crashed the past month because it faced a really bad state. And what I mean by this is obviously not to brag in any extent, but I am fairly successful for my age. And even me, I collapse, and I do it quite frequently. My whole life is in periods. So even though I'm having a really high success for myself, I'm making really good money on the internet, I look like I have it all figured out on the internet, I actually crash it. My whole life works in periods. So I might be successful, but my mental is still messed up, and my life is in periods. It works in cycles, and it's kind of like messed up, but I still manage to pull through, make things happen. So it's pretty cool, but I still have a lot of things to work on, but I want to share my experience on this channel as well. So hope that you click a like on this video and that you do subscribe, because I'm posting videos here every Monday and Thursday. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.